Shalom. I want to start off by saying Kahol Alim La, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the head apostles of GMS and a salute to you, Akis, that are tuning in. This is a servant the bar at GMS Boston. And pretty much it's just a quick impromptu on an article that I seen in RT, which the heading reads, "A murder epidemic, migrant crisis, and economic meltdown at home, but still the U.S. meddles in the world's affairs." And that is completely correct. Now, America, or the United States of America, is pretty much the military force of these elites, of the globalist elites, all right, whose plan is to achieve world domination, right, to have establish a one world government, which is nothing new. The scriptures say there's nothing new under the sun. These heathens tried this before. If you go back to the Tower of Babel, when they said, let us all come together, to form this great tower and let us join and band together, but at the end of the day, that's not the plans of the Heavenly Father, which is the reason why he confounded the languages, all right, because the Heavenly Father doesn't want union, doesn't want the whole world under one umbrella, pretty much, But America will keep meddling in everybody's affairs until the Lord comes back and takes this man's kingdom down. All right, until the Lord takes the beast system down, which the beast system, is Esau's system, the so-called white man system. All right, his whole systematic, all the way from the G7 that we're seeing here to the NATO, the EU, United Nations. That's all part of his system. All right, it's all part of his establishment, of his rule. Okay, and like I said, America is the weapon, the hammer. All right, it's referred to as the hammer, as we're gonna read in the book of Jeremiah, that these elites use to hammer down all these nations, man. Now it says, as Joe Biden and Kamala Harris make their first significant appearances on the world stage, the problems are mounting up back home. They do well to make fixing them their top priority rather than interfering in other countries. It's only common sense that will tell you, that you need to first fix your house before you can even attempt to fix somebody else's, right? But the case here in America, like I said, is that this country is pretty much looking out for the affairs of these globalist elites. All right, that's what they're doing. All right, the affairs of man, so they don't really care about what's going on at home. It's not really about that as much. It's more about fulfilling the agenda, the globalist agenda. Now it says, U.S. President Joe Biden is attending G7 summit in Cornwall, England, and his Vice President Kamala Harris has this week been in Mexico and Guatemala. Even before he arrived in England, Biden had already made clear his intention to meddle in Britain's affairs. He let it be known that he would tackle Prime Minister Boris Johnson about the Northern Ireland Protocol and the protracted post-Brexit negotiations with the European Union. See that? Biden failed to broach the subject during Thursday meetings with Johnson, but he will no doubt return to it before the weekend is over. Similarly, on her visit to Central America. So, ultimately, this double Biden, wants pretty much Britain to go back into the EU, But we know according to prophecy that, that might not happen, all right? Because eventually Esau's installment is going to break, all right? Eventually, the EU will break. All right, and and it's gonna be the end, man, because we're in the end of the end, man. So things gotta happen. All right, and we're hastening for the day. All right. Now this is Habakkuk 2:5. It says, "Yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and it says death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." How does he do that? By the way of America. This is why America is an empire. It's known as the American Empire. All right. Because they have an embassy. They have an American embassy pretty much in every country of the world. They have a say pretty much in what happens, around the world in every country. They don't keep at home. All right. And all nations, follow suit after America. All right, because America is the number one fighting force in the world, right? They have the number one military in the world at the current moment. Revelations 18:15 says, the merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. Okay? Because everybody breaks bread with America. Everybody sells to America. American is known as, it is a consuming nation, right? So every single nation under this planet has a dealing with America in some form or another. Okay, and this is why America can't stay still. America can't, but even though all hell's breaking loose here in its soil, different all kinds of problems, talking about racial problems all the way to economical problems, the big influx of money that's coming in, which is causing nothing but hyperinflation. All these things are happening here, but yeah, they want to meddle into everybody else's thing, Jeremiah 50:23 says, how is the hammer of the whole world, Salakia, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon becoming desolation among the nations, right? Now, Babylon is America, all right? Babylon is America, and the scriptures referring to America as the hammer, because America or I should say, if you don't follow suit what these devils got to say, you easily going to get a bomb in your ass. If you don't follow suit with what America says, America will look for an excuse to go invade your land and drop bombs with unmanned aircraft, man. That's what they do. Okay? So that's the hammer, man. That's the hammer. All right? But just Revelations 11:18, it says, and the nations were angry, and their wrath is come in the time of the dead. Right? And that's the point. The nations were angry. These nations are angry. They are. Okay? A lot of these nations can't wait to push a nuclear button, and shoot missiles here to America. And a lot of these nations can't, they can't stand you. This devil Kamala Harris went down to Guatemala, and they threw her ass out of there, man. The people didn't welcome her there. They didn't welcome her because they were talking about, that, they pro-life, and, of course, America, everything that involves America is death, because the abortion clinics, all these things stem from America, man. They're the pioneers of this shit, and all in the name of healthcare. That's their biggest thing, healthcare. And there's nothing caring or for nobody's health. All right, So these nations are angry, man. These nations are angry, and everywhere the so-called white men go, man, they're swift to kick them out. They're not welcome. They go down to Mexico, they could get their head chopped. They go down to various parts of the world. This man is losing his grip, losing his power. This is Jeremiah 15:14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon, round about, or either bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she sinned against the Lord. And that's the end game. All right. When the scriptures say arrows, that's talking about these ICBM missiles, these thermonuclear missiles that are gonna annihilate America. Okay. So all these nations are gonna put themselves against America, man. Which America is modern day Babylon, modern day Egypt. Really, all these kingdoms that have been before, all put into one conglomerate melting pot, which is America. All right, which is the United States of America. Okay, all these nations are gonna shoot arrows, which those arrows, like I said, are nuclear missiles. Okay, and there's nothing that's gonna survive here, in this land. All right, and the only way to escape, is by the hand of the Lord. All right, by the hand of these chariots, these so-called UFOs that have been being sighted left and right now these days. That's the only vehicle, the only avenue of salvation from this, because Third World War is coming. These Third World War is coming. America will be destroyed, man. no matter what this devil Biden try to do, all right, because this is the plan of the Lord. All right, if you read Revelation, the 18th chapter, you can clearly see, and it'll tell you, Apostle John, the Revelator, saw the complete destruction of America, all right, which is also that lake of fire, that's very famous that most people know. That lake of fire is not talking about on Dante's Inferno. It's not talking about, a place where, you're going to burn. That lake of fire, was the Apostle John seeing these thermonuclear missiles hit America and exploding, because that's what happens when a nuclear missile hits. Ground zero, and then it opens up like a scroll. It just the wave is like a fire wave, which is like a besom, a fire wave. Good example that we always say is that movie Terminator, where Sarah Connor, is holding herself in that fence, and she gets hit by this blast of heat of fire, and from an air view, bird's eye view, it looks like a lake. It looked like a lake of fire, because a lake is always moving, So and the fire runs like a lake or a river. All right. But yeah, man, these are all signs that this place, America, is going down the tubes, man. America's imploding, meaning it's breaking down from within. This article right here pinpoints to just that. So, but hopefully this was edifying. That's all I had. It was just a quick impromptu, based on that article. The purpose is always to wake up the hopeful elect, which is gonna, expedite the Lord's coming. So with that, I'm gonna say, call Holalim La Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Akakudash. Again, double honors to the head apostles of GMS, and salute to the Akis that do say Shalom.